rAVe. rAVe is a full-service creative agency that provides AV companies with creative services, marketing, and public relations support.
What don't we do? We do it all.
We have Pubs, which is our publications now, which is our live events, Create, which is our creative services, Consult, which is helping brands amplify their message, Speak, which is the live speaking and keynotes that we do, Storytelling, which is our PR and copywriting services, and then we have Launch, which is our live events.
I work under the Create talent. You have graphic design, you have day-to-day social management. There's so many different aspects.
It is so limitless.
rAVe Create is the worst talent.
If someone said that rAVe Create was talent, they would be lying. And Speak is the best talent, and I've never lied. Like whatever president that was that chopped the cherry tree and felt really bad and didn't. Is it Abe Lincoln? I'm Abe Lincoln of this office. My talent is rAVe Speak. We will be a personality or a host for different events within the industry.
One talent I fall under at rAVe is rAVe Now. People know me as the person that's gonna come shoot their videos.
My talent at the rAVe agency is storytelling. We help our clients break through the clutter and the noise in our industry.
My favorite part about my job is that every day is not the same. I love the people of rAVe.
You know, we have great people. We have a great team that really cares about what we're doing.
We have a lot of talented people.
I'm able to come in to basically any meeting and be like, hey, okay, I've got a really weird idea. Everybody just keep your comments until the end.
We go beyond just what we've done so far. We're always doing something more.
All right. Welcome to the rAVe Esports Show. Thank you so much for being here today. We have a very special, amazing show today. I'm super excited about it. And if you're on any of the platforms right now, we are streaming live on Kick, 2 different Twitters, 2 different YouTubes, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch. If I didn't already say that, we're on Instagram as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. So many people in the chat already. If you're in the chat, say hello. If you are a military or service member, please say hello in the chat. We're super excited to have a great show today, as well as some amazing folks that have been on the show before with Extron. Big shout out to our sponsors, Extron, for supporting us in these so many episodes. This is episode 9. We've had 9 episodes. And also to Neutrik Group. Thank you so much for sponsoring this show, so we have the ability to get audio-visual information out there, AV information, especially around esports. I'm super excited because we're gonna have a few more shows in the rest of the season with some other amazing guests. If you haven't watched recently in the past, it's about every first or third Thursday of the month, sometimes depending on when there's events or national events in Barcelona or international events happening with the audiovisual industry. We'll have these shows. We've had different people like Angela Bernhardt-Thomas from Collegiate Sports Management Group, Esports U. We've had Andrew and Kevin from Extron before. We've had Mike and Christy from Generation Esports with Esports Curriculum. We've had Josh Kell with Esports Integration. So many fun guests, but today is probably one of our best shows that's gonna happen today. I'm gonna be honest, because we've spent some time over the past few weeks trying to create an experience for everyone so they could see what it looks like in an esports arena that's set up by some amazing people. I'm going to bring in all of my guests today. They're here with us, and we're going to allow them to introduce themselves. Going to bring in some amazing people. Say hello to our panelists. Hello, how are you guys today?
Awesome, Bubba.
Doing great, Bubba.
All right, so from Victor over to Andrew, Kevin in the middle. Please, Victor, go ahead. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, hey everybody, my name is Victor Castro. I'm the director of Army West Point Esports. I also serve as the deputy director of modeling simulations here at the United States Military Academy. And hey, great to see everybody in chat, and I'm really glad to be here.
Awesome. Thanks. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin Diltz here. I'm the Extron Esports Solutions Manager, and I work with colleges and universities and high schools and districts to help design AV systems for all types of esports venues, from labs to practice and competition spaces up to what you're seeing today at Army West Point. And super cool, super excited to be here and looking forward to this for sure.
Thanks, Kevin. Go ahead, Andrew.
I'm Andrew Evans, the Director of Product Marketing here at Extron, responsible for the video distribution and signal processing products.
Thank you guys once again. Before we get rolling, if you don't know what Extron is, I'm going to show a quick intro video of Extron. So tune in, check this out.
Get future ready with Extron Esports AV technologies. Experience better looking images and higher quality sound with AV systems that are easy to control. When it comes to esports, Extron provides the winning edge. To learn more, visit extron.com/esports.
Once again, big shout out to Extron. They not only the sponsor of the show, we got two amazing esports experts on the show from Extron who are also, I guess you guys kind of had something to do, maybe your company, with what we're going to look at today. Is that right, Kevin?
Yes, we did. So we worked a partnership with Victor and his team, and we were able to design the system based off of kind of what their vision was for the space, and it turned out great. We're super excited to show it today.
Andrew, what kind of nerdery stuff do I need to know about what's about to happen here?
Well, certainly we've got quite a few pieces of gear here in the system. We've got a couple of different matrix switchers that allow us to take sources in and route those throughout the arena. We've got some signal processors, which allow us to take multiple videos and put them up into a single raster, do some titling and graphics around it, some fun stuff like that. We've even got a streaming media processor in here so that if Victor and crew want to stream what's happening in the arena out to the world, they've got that option as well.
Love that. Okay, well, Victor, we are going to work with your team, and Marco, who's in the background. Thank you, Marco, so much for taking the time to set this up and do all the hard work behind the scenes, and it's going to be helping us out. But you now, guests, get to see the reveal of this amazing setup we have. Talk us through what we're seeing here, Victor. This is a fun little setup.
Well, exactly, and we had an idea what we needed this arena to be able to do, and it came down to multiple capabilities. It has to be able to absorb all the needs of the academy, to include simulations, but as well as esports. And you can imagine there's so many different sources, there's so many different things we want to show in this great world of collegiate, because RGB colors and the personal players and things like that. So prior to having Extron, we were kind of figuring it out. We like to say, like, build a plane in flight. Having the one camera, eventually taking one input, and things like that started to become very cumbersome. You have power problems, you have all these different things. So having a chance to talk with Extron, they took into consideration everything we wanted everything to do, and then they found a solution that works extremely well for us. So I'm going to switch my camera over and really start walking everybody through and kind of talk you through some of these solutions.
Awesome. And I know there's a little feedback just because we got your camera audio and the speakers in the room. So if you're watching right now, that's what you're hearing. You don't adjust your dial, as they might have said when TVs were boxes. Tune in, stay tuned.
Let's start with the speakers.
Yeah, please.
You can imagine any arena wants that beautiful sound. So these 6 speakers are amplified through the Extron system. There's a subwoofer in the back corner. And if we can't get after it today, but when you do come and you visit, this thing gets exactly what you want. That thump from some of the weapon systems in the game firing, things like that, all come out of this fantastic system. Wow. So we have a mounting bracket in the ceiling, and all of these are strategically placed to be able to work this whole entire space.
Holy cow.
We have a weapons range in our esports facility.
Wait. I didn't know that was it. That's is that like digital guns? What?
This is our engagement skills trainer. So we are the only esports facility that has a weapons range in it. The only way an army should be able to do it.
I had no idea. Okay, we'll have to have a demo of that maybe. I don't know. Is that legal?
Yes.
I don't. Okay. Great.
So really, it was all about solving the problem. And when they solved the problem, we're able to expand. So now, when we were almost tapped out in every one of our sources, we are now able to come back down to a ready state with the Extron capability and grow exponentially more. So what I'm going to do now is show you where the player stations are.
Okay.
This is rig number 1. These are custom machines built by Paradox Customs. They're designed for high-level competitive play, but now we have a capability for the POV cams.
Oh, okay.
This is the HDMI run here, power, everything that's happening, all going back to the MGP.
And what we're seeing here, so if you're tuning in just now, we've got 2 shots. We've got Victor walking around with his camera showing the up close stuff, and then that's the PTZ optics camera, I believe, up in the ceiling looking down over the players. Right now that moves, it's not on a track, it just goes left to right. Is that correct? Or up and down and left to right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that is really
that's
neat.
That's our cave cam, right? We named it the cave cam.
Cave cam,
powered by Extron.
Game cave cam. All right, cool.
That's
I love that.
So
Okay,
here's another good example of the capability. You can see me. This is some Inception stuff here.
Yeah.
This is rig number 2, and rig number 2 now has all this capability, mainly because of the back architecture that is Extron. So our tech directors, who are also cadets that are trained to operate all this equipment, now have so much more versatility.
He just zoomed in. Okay, love that. Oh my.
Trophy.
What trophy? Where did you earn that trophy?
We actually built this for the service academies. So, and very soon we're going to be able to compete for this. And this is going to be a big, how do I put this? Incentive to try to beat Army, which they're not going to be able to do.
Nice.
So rig number 3, identical to rig 1 and 2. Rig number 4, notice that the cameras are identical. All the HDMI cabling that's run all the way back to the source, and then rig number 5. Then each one of these control panels, these are a 10-inch touchscreen control panels, allow for anywhere that we're in the room to control the full capability of the Extron space.
Wow.
Isn't that insane?
Okay. Oh, so this is the behind the scene. This is back.
And there's another one.
So what do we got here?
The same thing, another 10-inch control panel. So if I find myself at the vertical rack, I can control this from this space as well.
So okay, Kevin, Andrew, what did I just see? What was that thing? Let's let the Extron experts here tell me in maybe some layman's terms as well.
The 10-inch touch panel there?
Yeah.
So that would be the user interface. There's a control processor here in the system that handles all the automation and communication back to each of the pieces of equipment, the matrix switchers, the DSP processors, the amplifiers, the streaming media processors. And so to streamline that operation, we give them a single pane of glass interface that lets them get hands-on with all of that equipment. And as Victor was saying, the cadets are able to come in there and they can take control over that system and really be the producers of it without having to really understand all of the exact in and outs, because we simplify that for them on that touch panel.
So that's
and there's also pages.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry, but yeah, there's also pages, one for lighting control, one for video routing, one for the multi-graphic processor, one for camera control. So easily flipping between those different pages and you have full control over that. So all the video distribution, what sources you want where, and then selecting what input sources you want within that multi-window processor. So not only can you change the layouts through the different presets, you say what you want in those different sources. So super, super cool.
And I know we're going to get more breakdown of it kind of digital here in a minute from Marco, but this is way better than my, thank you, Marco. This is way cooler than my little stream deck from Elgato, I think is, I mean, this is some high quality stuff. So, okay. I'm gonna get a little bigger shot of this, what you're showing us, Marco. This is a digital version I'm seeing on the screen that he's got up that you guys operate from a computer. So if you don't want to use the touch panel, or looks like you have multiple places to be able to do this. Or I guess from even your phone or iPad, I'm guessing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Victor? Or who else?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. Wow, I mean, at church we have something like this. This is not this kind of, it's not this cool. We've got touchpad, but not this intense. And so what else are we seeing here?
Well, what's cool about having the virtual access is I could be late, and I can access this remotely on the network and then launch this whole entire streaming environment remotely via a pad or a supported device. Those supported devices are also listed on the Extron website, so you can see all the different sources like a Samsung system or any of the Surface Pro systems, and you can actually predetermine whether or not your touchscreen or your tablet device will actually be functional with this capability.
That's Extron.com.
All right, so what you're going to see
/esports,
now
by the
is
way.
our large production. Here's the left screen. Now, here's what we're talking about capability.
Yeah.
We can now pull in computer number 1 and display it up on screen number 1.
Okay.
And then we also have an inset of camera number 1 going up onto that screen for what we would look for that esports experience.
So is there like spectator area for this as well?
Well, yeah, given the rules of some of our collegiate competition, we can't actually have this up when people are playing. But if we were in a casual environment, we'd be able to make this absolutely dynamic. You can actually see me, hey, what's up, in real time. As you know, look how real time it is. It's actually amazing. Like it's just mind blowing because we discover new things about this system almost every day. There's you, hey, everybody, where you hide yourself.
Yeah.
So we can actually send the feed in real time
this is
from
like Mandalorian
any
level.
source.
This is like Mandalorian when they created the Mandalorian show on that big infinity wall. This is pretty much right there. I'm seeing.
And then here's a good look at the schematic and design of the whole entire build.
Yeah, we'll break that down here in a minute. But for those who are in watching today, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Or if you want to talk about what military service you're in and try to talk smack, we'll accept that, but we won't acknowledge it.
Just remember, beat Navy. So right up here, you'll see a top-down projector. And this, again, we also have a simulation mode to this, but this top-down projector is really good for our cadet VOD review. This is a normal Expo marker board, but being able to send the source from any gaming environment to this top-down view allows them to work in real time about evaluating their performance. And that's using basic Expo markers. But I think the common theme that everybody should be seeing is that it's the versatility of the system via source to destination that allows our imagination and our flexibility to work. So when people are starting to think about how to upgrade their personal systems and go into that, take into consideration the far left and right limits about how you want it to perform. Here at the Army West Point Esports, we know that this has to adapt within minutes. Because like just before, we were servicing a cadet class that needed to do something with the projectors, and within minutes we were able to switch from simulation mode to esports mode.
So I guess the next step for the budget requests from the government is holographic projection on that top down. Is that we're gonna see like maps being 3D hologram projected on how you go through Valorant or Overwatch? I think that's the next budget request. I'll pay extra taxes for that.
You know what? Maybe on the next show we'll talk to you about some of the augmented reality systems we're already testing.
Okay, there we go.
So do we? I mean, any questions we got to talk about some of the chat or anything, or
not yet? But I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff here. I guess we're all interested to see, probably mostly me, how you got a light box there. Okay, nice. How the shooting range works.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, go on, it's cool.
All right, I happen to be an expert.
Oh, okay.
So welcome to the engagement skills trainer. This is designed to take our cadets from not knowing anything about weapon systems to actually knowing a lot about weapon systems, to the point where their actually safety is the biggest concern. So this pneumatic system, this is the M249. It's a 5.56 caliber machine gun. This is the M4 system. So this engagement skills trainer is like a stepping stone before they shoot live for their grouping and zeroing. What's really cool is if I wanted to, I could walk over and grab that remote and send the whole entire Extron signal to that screen as well. Because we ran HDMI cable to these projectors too. So what you're really looking at is where we put on our esports space, they can actually all sit here with folding chairs and watch the whole entire event over there too.
Yeah, this is definitely like a James Bond movie. I feel like I'm in. This is Q, and he's showing us everything. And there's like a dummy back there, and we're tested with a flamethrower. I think I leveled up my M4. I leveled up that gun in Call of Duty, so I know what that one's about. Kyle from Wichita, he's ready to play. He says my turn. He's ready to jump in.
Oh yeah. All right, so we're down to the brains of it all. This is where the meat and potatoes is. There's Marco. Hey Marco.
Marco,
the man behind the curtain.
Yes. How many monitors?
This is it. This is where it all comes down to play.
4 monitors.
So what I like to do now is offer, Kevin a chance to, really talk a little bit about what we're seeing. I'm going to listen to what you want to see, and we're really just going to dig down to, if anything, if you get this done right, you have almost unlimited capability as far as doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think if we could just go through the different pages that you have on your touch panel, and then specifically, I'd love to see the different presets that you have for the 4x1 MGP 641 multi-window processor, and what that can do when you can, set those different presets to have different sources feeding those, and what that layout is. And again, we're looking at a single projector screen where you can have a single image or 2 or 3 or 4 in quad view, picture by picture, side by side, and any sort of layout that you want, perfectly scaled, and do some really creative stuff from that. And that's pulling in your camera feeds, your esports PCs, your observer PC. Essentially, any source can do anything you want within that windowing processor.
Okay.
And I was just going to say, that's empowering the student. So now the student is interfacing with this level of technology, and then understanding its underlying architecture, and then knowing as a good example of what the possibility is to be able to do this in the future somewhere else in their career.
So so students are really investing. I mean, you're really investing in the students here. This isn't just a place to get lots of wins and dubs, but it sounds like a place where students are learning more than just becoming an officer and maybe becoming a good gamer. But I see tech, I see STEM, STEAM, I see firing range. There's a wide array. So, I mean, what do you, when you have a student come in, or when you're doing recruitment, or they're coming to learn, like, what is the conversation you're having about this space and why it's beneficial, and the parents especially are trying to understand everything?
Well, it becomes important because we need to understand our students. And the reason for that is we want them to understand, like, where their passions lie, where they're going to actually persist, where their motivations are. And in doing so, we can then move learning into where they're actually going to persist in that. So if somebody's able to come in here and use all this technology, I have the ability as staff and faculty to say, okay, what are you gaining from this? How can we apply, your challenges, your strategies, and things like that for learning, given all this equipment as, like, I don't know, almost like a studio or some type of, like, high-end innovative learning space. What it doesn't do, it doesn't change the learning. I mean, we have grads, and we have everybody that's been an officer here or been a cadet here that learned in their own different ways. But now we're starting to get a better understanding of what students are looking for today. We're actually exploring innovative ways to do this kind of stuff. And I would argue that most universities have their finger on the pulse to try to do this kind of stuff. So by showing our cadets from a freshman all the way up to a senior, they can actually have real world touchscreen, hands-on learning, and to be able to seek this technology out when they have the similar challenges from their role as an officer. Because you can imagine there's probably command and control spaces. There's most likely, large technology teaching areas that are throughout the, all DoD that would actually benefit from our officers to be able to put these together, understand what it takes to build one, and then be able to, like, train users how to use it, to include the lowest soldier all the way up to non-commissioned officers and COs and things like that.
Wow. Yep. Andrew, I think what I'd like to see, maybe a little more breakdown of kind of this this box down here, right? This I call it a box. I am not using the right term, but I think we had another feed of that, Marco, of this shot of this device. This rack, I don't know, is it part of a rack? Is that the right terminology?
Yeah, it is a rack of equipment. Yep.
Okay, well, give us some more details on what's happening here. Thank you, Marco.
There we go. So in there, you've got one of the matrix switchers. That's what's doing the heavy lifting when it comes to routing sources out to the different destinations within the cave there.
Okay.
Then you've got the SMP 352. That's a streaming media processor that allows Marco, Victor, anybody else there in that space to get out of that space. So if they were hosting a casual gaming thing and they wanted to send that off to a Twitch stream, that's the device that's going to be able to take in the different feeds from the cave and put that out to Twitch. Then we've got the MGP 641. One of the things I'd like to touch on that Victor mentioned was the training that the cadets get here in this space, and that MGP being able to bring up multiple video windows onto a single display. That's a concept that they're definitely going to experience after their life there at West Point in those command and control applications where you've got a video wall or a knowledge wall, and they'll be maybe in a watch center somewhere, and they're going to have not just 4 video signals on one display, but they might have 20, 30, 50 different video signals stretched across a large canvas. And that's going to give them their kind of taste of that situational awareness and being able to manage their resources. And then below that MGP 641, we've got the control processor. That's one of our IPCP Pro 360s. And that's the device that Kevin mentioned earlier that's interfacing with the lighting system, the audio, the video. That's the brains of all of this that the touch panel is interfacing to, so that as students or faculty there are pressing those buttons on the TLP, that control processor is what's translating those button presses into commands for the different pieces of equipment in the space. And then as we move down, it looks like we've got our DMP Plus. That's going to be the DSP audio processor. And so they've got the subwoofer, the loudspeakers, the ability to route player audio, whatever it might be. This is what's going to give them the opportunity to do some parametric equalization, to take care of some routing and cross-point mixing of those audio signals, giving them that ultimate flexibility for the audio within that space. And then below that, looks like we've got a couple, or a XPA Ultra amplifier driving the loudspeakers. And then the other one there, a little tough for me to see, but might be another DSP.
IPL XPF PDU 4H.
Okay. That is a power distribution box. So one of the things that we can do is sequence power in these racks. So when you're turning devices on and off, there's a lot of focus on energy savings. Devices not creating extra heat in space when it's not being used. So the PDU is what's going to give us the ability to control power to the devices in that rack.
Love it. Love it. Well, yeah, thank you for that breakdown. I know here in a minute, we'll probably do a quick sponsor break here in a second, but I definitely will, that diagram that we had pulled up, we'll go over that here shortly. But Kevin, I mean, like, let's just think about, like, when there's other schools out there, other higher institutions of learning, or secondary schools, or even professional spaces for esports, like, why is seeing this beneficial for them to understand, like, this is what you need for your facility?
Yeah, and I think even beyond that, I'm at a education K-12 conference this week in Kentucky, and we had a session earlier today talking about how these spaces could be dual purpose for teaching and learning and STEM and CTE classes, and the ability for students to work, within the classroom on these gaming PCs and graphic design and video editing and, CAD and CAM classes and whatever those types of courses may be. And then you have the ability to incorporate team-based learning and collaborative instruction. So now these students are working instead of individually, but in group projects and things like that. And the teacher could walk around the classroom and say, okay, hey, I really like what your group is working on, holding an iPad that's got the touch panel interface on there. And then they can present that student's content or those students' content around the room and have them discuss what they're working on, work on group presentations. That collaborative instruction is absolutely, really effective way for these students to learn. We've got a high school that has a cybersecurity classroom that it's just really impactful when students are teaching. It's kind of a flipped classroom where they can do that in the space. Or is the teacher wants to connect their laptop and present that to the displays around the room, of course, that's a capability too. So the ability to send video out or back or anywhere that you want, all of that can be accomplished through this technology. And what we're looking at with West Point is certainly, it is a top of the line facility for sure.
Yeah.
But we have other AV switchers that are 8x2 or 8x4 or 10x8, 8x6. So there's ways to design these systems that are scalable, where you can start off with a handful of PCs, let's say enough for a five-player team, and then maybe you want to add a couple of consoles to that as well. So imagine you can take in those 5 PCs, those 2 Nintendo Switches, whatever they may be, do that windowing, have camera inputs, and then broadcast that out and stream it, send it into that overflow space for spectator view, and then really do some creative stuff. So there's ways to design this to meet any sort of need based off of what type of application is being used.
Great, thank you. Well, we're gonna come back after a quick sponsor break, and definitely want to look at that diagram. But I also, and for those of you just tuning in just now, we are at Army West Point Esports Arena. And we are checking out this amazing facility built with the help of Extron. And when we get back, I definitely want to maybe look at some other views. I don't know, Marco, we talked about even how to get, maybe Victor wants to sit at a gaming station and we'll look at his feed from his face cam and stuff. But yeah, we'll come right back after this commercial break. See you soon.
Get future ready with Extron Esports AV technologies. Experience better looking images and higher quality sound with AV systems that are easy to control. When it comes to esports, Extron provides the winning edge. To learn more, visit extron.com/esports.
So we are getting set up for our wrap up here of the show with the rAVe Esports Show. Once again, if you're just tuning in, we are at Army West Point and with the esports arena there, built with the help of Extron. In the chat, Josh Ordazako says, "Congratulations, West Point. You made a great choice partnering with Extron." That's right. And Lori says, "Great job, Kevin and Extron and Andrew. Always a pleasure to see you." Victor, Army pride, go Army, beat Navy.
All day, man. All day.
Hey, Lori, that's great. Good to hear from you.
That's awesome. Well, as we start getting set up here and getting this checked out, so we've got a feed from Victor's cell phone there, and what I see here, let me get the bigger shot of that as well. So you've got game. So this is like this normal Twitch stream feed where, if we just look at the rectangular area, the 1920 by 1080 kind of area, you got gameplay, and then you've got the normal camera feed of a player. So when you guys are actually producing an actual stream, I'm guessing you would use this sometimes to drop in their face to show the intensity of how crazy the action is, or what would be a use for this?
We love win celebrations, especially if you can catch them, because you get the most raw aspect of what you want from the players, the excitement of having won the match, the excitement of, hey, the strategy worked. And believe it or not, you also have to capture when they lose. There's give and take on both those things. But mostly for production-wise, you almost want to get, like you said, that intensity. You know as well as I do, being a producer and things like that, if it is a 1v3 and you want to get the intensity of that player, they'll do the lean in. You almost want to have our viewers connect with our players in that capacity. So yeah, this is a huge, and also the players resonate with this view. And a young man and woman that's going through the esports ranks from K through 12 to high school to collegiate, they actually almost expect this view, and it sometimes resonates with a program, either club to varsity, as the focus on the player.
Yeah. And so there's 5 or 6 stations there.
We have 5.
No longer the need for 6 now that Overwatch 2 is around, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then each of those stations have that camera for that feed. Oh, we're gonna get some gameplay from you?
No, I'm not getting trolled. I'm not getting trolled for my gameplay. No way.
We're gonna have to change the name on the Twitch stream to Call of Duty here instead of Talk Show.
I'll get one of our players and they can play for me.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, feel free if there's any players who have signed a waiver and are okay to be on this show, they can come over and play, and we'll get their reactions and any other shots.
Look, 1080p signal going to the controller, everything you want for that production. As you can see, it's not putting any detriment on the performance of the PC as well. So you really can test your limits left and right. You know, the camera work is completely independent, so you're not overtasking your PC to do multiple things. So it's really worth it to almost rebuild in a sense to get it done on the baseline correctly, and then phase out your growth over time. And that's exactly what we're doing here too.
So there's room for even more. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Like the holographic shots of the Valorant map, and you're walking people through. Okay, totally get it. Extron, what's that? What's that? Is there like a number? LGB97MY25er? There's so many numbers. I am so lost with everything you said.
Yep. 3 letters, 3 numbers, all kinds of stuff to choose from.
ABC 1, 2, 3.
One of the biggest aspects here is really the fluidity of the changeover.
Okay.
And I want to show you how easy Marco is able to navigate through all these components. And Kevin or anybody want to talk about, the key aspects of this, because it is custom built to us in that concern, but there could also be some more depth for left and right limits.
Yeah, so you have a preset for, kind of a single source, full screen, and then you have a side by side, and you'd say what you want in each of those 2 windows. Then you have a kind of a 1 large and 3 on the right hand side, and you populate those sources. There it is right there.
Wow.
And then you can flip that. So if you want to go with the 3 on the right and the 1 source on the left, and as you're moving with these transitions, it is, not a cut to black. It is a fade, a swipe, and really gives it that broadcast quality. So, one of the things that we're, talking about this for that spectator experience, imagine again that overflow room, that auditorium. Their students are in, another classroom, another esports lab. You can have the ability to, let's say, have all 3 Rocket League players on the team, plus a wide camera shot of everybody. So the parents want to see their students compete, and you can also see the gameplay real time. So there's really some creative things that you can do here, and just moving, between those different input sources. So again, you have the ability to have up to 128 different presets.
Wow.
And you can then populate the sources of those presets with whatever you want, and you're just instantly recalling them on the touch panel, and you can see how clean those transitions are.
All right, so
that just adds
somebody
that depth.
We're getting somebody to play over here. Is that what's happening?
I'm actually going to die because I'm not at the desk, and that person's just going to get wrecked.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have the loadout selected. All right, who else is in the arena? Is anybody in the arena to go play?
Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to switch the whole entire space over for these 2 young men that have to do an operations order.
Okay.
And that's going to take us out of esports mode into simulation mode. But I think that's where we're going to lose all of our capability, or are we going to still be good? Okay, yeah, so we're going to switch over to sim mode, and I'm going to just show you with one touch of a button. Everything that you see here is going to switch over to a capability that these cadets now are going to use Virtual Battlespace 3 for a course requirement, and they're going to start setting up for their operations order. So with that, they have full control now of the space, and they're actually going to do the best they can and do really good on their grades. Yeah, all right, good.
Victor, all those words were words I know, but I don't know what they meant together.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm pretty sure they're doing something for school, and they're getting credit for it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So, we didn't show you this feature. This is so cool. He just asked for a capability. This HDMI cable is pre-built for a student to be able to plug into their laptop, and then we can send that feed to any one of the screens that they need. Hey, here's the HDMI cable.
Make sure your password.
Again, a customization capability that we needed because we have instructors roll into the space, and then because of the control switching on that panel, we can send that signal to whatever screen they want.
So they have something they need to pull up on their laptop, while you also have. Are they gonna? So this operational thing they're going to do here for class, is it some sort of like test the bridge? I don't know. Some other military terms. What's happening? Yeah. What are we learning today, son?
I can't hear it right now because we turned off the speaker. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So he's getting set up. So we've got this HDMI that's set up to pull up to his laptop, like any normal classroom would have, or for instructors or students, which is very helpful. And then he's going to pull up something in his feed. His password is 1234. We just saw that, by the way. And
is that awesome? OPSEC.
Yes, that is a lot of screens.
And then Marco is going to be able to switch that feed to whatever screen they want.
Okay. So you have the function and the capability to now you're doing multiple things right now. So it looks like there's other students over there about to do simulation for the shooting range as well. Wow.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for us. I'm sorry, we got to get some training. These guys are going to shoot. They're going to start training. They're testing sight systems using the E-Engagement Skills Trainer.
Keep us safe. Learn something.
Yes.
We'll keep you on the mobile camera though, Victor. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for showing all that. I'm so impressed. And yes, Kyle in chat, that is a lot of screens. How many total screens do you think are in that room? Have you counted? There's probably.
All right, guys, I got to get going. I'm sorry I couldn't hear you because we're switching over.
Gotcha.
Thank you all for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Victor.
Hey, see you guys later.
Yep.
Hey, buddy.
Well, Kevin, Andrew, do you guys know how many screens there are? Where in there? Any ideas?
I can't remember.
There were so many.
6+ projectors. You got the 5-player stations with screens. Then you got some flat panel displays around the room as well. I mean, you're probably pushing a dozen.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
That was intense. So as we wrap up here, I kind of want to. I know we've you've been on the show a couple times, and I really want to hit a home run here on a little more of why Extron should be working with schools and why it's beneficial to do what you guys do and use the capabilities and the functions that you guys have as employees of Extron, associates of Extron, to really meet the needs. So I know you talked a little bit about it again earlier, Kevin, but like what's going to set you guys apart and help schools and organizations with the capabilities for something like an esports arena or multi-purpose, which I love that we talk about that in our space and in the esports space, because it is definitely needed. And how well can that multi-purpose space be used for everything else, like an AutoCAD design class or a Illustrator class or whatever it may be? So yeah, what's the big selling point here for Extron and working with schools?
Well, I think the thing that we do is we really work to understand what the vision is from these schools, what their goals are, but also help them understand what other schools are doing as well. So for that presentation that I did earlier today, I started discussing, that dual purpose capability. And that was new to a lot of the folks that were there. A lot of the principals and administrators that were in that room, they hadn't really thought about that. Their mind was just kind of focused, hey, we're building an esports lab. And again, I really stressed to them that, this room, you do not want that door locked from 8 a.m. to 3:30. How can we really maximize the use of these high-powered machines for that graphic design, for that video editing, for that digital photography, cybersecurity, whatever that application may be. And then, that teacher has, their touch panel interface for all of the AV control for teaching and learning. And then you can have an esports button on that panel. It can have a pen that you enter. Now you're in esports mode. So now you can control the lighting to the RGB. You can have, just more of that look and feel within that esports space. So really understanding what their needs are, what their goals are, and helping them understand just what the capabilities can be by incorporating an AV system into those spaces. And we, it's not a cookie cutter approach in esports. Every space is different. So, we, engage our system design engineers, and we, really start to design and outline and provide that AV diagram for the school. And, we present that to them, and it's just a resource that we provide, throughout this process. Another thing is that this is not a one and done meeting. This is a multiple stage process, right? And so we work with schools all the way from the early conceptual, ideas all the way through the end. And again, Victor in West Point is, that's amazing. But, we're talking about AV systems for classrooms and collaboration and things like that, and how that can then support esports after school. So that's ways to tap into Perkins funding potentially for grants. And, now you're able to do that. And something else we talked about today is that, Bubba, I know you know this well, that one of the benefits of esports in the scholastic space is increased attendance. Now these students want to come to school. They're passionate about this, and that can directly translate into additional funding through attendance-based funding programs. So schools are able to calculate the ROI on, hey, my students on average in esports came to school 7.83 times more per year. And then you could, extrapolate that out over the number of students that you have in your program. And so that will certainly help, offset the upfront investment for their esports equipment, right?
Love that. Andrew, last words, last thoughts, and we'll get you back to resting and getting some tea and honey.
I appreciate that, Bubba. Yeah. No, it's just the Army West Point's site is just a phenomenal system. The flexibility that Victor was showing off there, that really is specific to West Point in the equipment versus simulation side of things, but it's not specific to, like Kevin mentioned, that flexibility that's baked in to a lot of these multi-purpose spaces. Change the label, but it's that same functionality, that same flexibility. And we're really excited to work with schools and to be able to help them on their esports journey.
Love it.
Yep.
Well, guys, thank you so much for coming today. Oh, I mean, I want to go there. I don't even honestly. I need to Google where West Point even is. That's how bad I am with geography. Where is West Point?
New York.
New York. All right,
Yeah.
I was right. I knew that. So yeah, okay. We're gonna have to go there. We're gonna have to take a field trip, and we're gonna have to hopefully play with the guns. I don't know. I'll sign a waiver. I mean, I want to. I don't think it was real bullets, obviously. No, okay, great. All right. So yes, I definitely want to go check that out, and maybe look at all the nooks and crannies of everything in there. We got a good view with all the cameras, but there's so much more to see, and obviously he's talking about AR coming up soon with augmented reality. So maybe that's with an enemy in front of you. I don't know. Or a Pokemon. I have no idea. We'll see.
Well, if Victor's willing to show it off.
Yeah, I think so. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on today. It was an absolute honor to see you guys again and chat and get to look at all this stuff. And thanks for explaining all the numbers and letters and the acronyms and everything that goes with all the stuff you guys do. And appreciate you guys again sponsoring the show and being supportive of what we're trying to do in esports.
Yeah.
So, any last words? Any
No,
last thoughts?
Thank you, Bubba. This has been awesome.
Okay, well, I'm going to shut down the show. you guys feel free. You don't have to stick around the control room. I'll shut that down, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Sounds
Bubba.
great, Bubba. Take care.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
See ya. All right. Bye.
Thanks so much, everyone, for being here today. It was so much fun getting to see everything happening at Army West Point Esports. If you're just tuning in here as we shut down the show, this is the rAVe Esports Show, and we got to stream today on multiple platforms all over YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Kick. We were on Instagram. We happened to be, luckily and accidentally, on the Esports U Instagram today because I didn't change the logins. So instead of my Instagram, we got to be shared with the Collegiate Esports space on Instagram today. That was kind of fun because a lot of people came in and take a look at their competition, because Army West Point is going to the Collegiate Esports Commissioner's Cup here in May at Esports Arlington Stadium for, I think, the Rocket League or Overwatch team, I believe. And that's part of the Service Academy's qualifier they got in. So yeah, they got to see a little taste of what's happening at Army West Point. Now, we won't have a show next week. We kind of pushed this one back for some scheduling, and then next week we don't have a show, but in 2 weeks we'll potentially be having a show talking about Metaverse. And then after that, on the 4th of April, we're gonna have Joni Kraut. She is the executive director from Women in Games International. Now, this is a big show that I really want you guys to tune in on April 4th, because Joni is a leader in our space when it comes to gaming, equality, diversity, equity, inclusion, and she really has gotten things moving for so many of the amazing gamers and game developers, as well as content creators in our space in esports and gaming. So please come back on April 4th and check that out. We've got some other shows that I'll be doing as well. Please check out all the socials in the links on all the platforms. And we really do appreciate you guys. Appreciate, once again, our sponsors, Extron, Neutrik. Thank you so much for supporting us and letting us have the ability to do this show and present it to all the AV folks out there, as well as a large and wonderful shout out to Gary K, Harry Lartz, and the rest of the team at rAVe Pubs, rAVe Agency. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time on the rAVe Esports Show with me, your host, Bubba Gaeddert. Bye.